You. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Thank you to the organizers and all the contributors so far. In particular, Abdel Fattah's defiance, Lina's beautiful artistry and her poetry, and Mazen Khamsia's connecting of the dots between genocide, imperial designs, and the trashing of our planet. I believe that our greatest power as Palestinians lies in our creative expressions of our indigenous heritage and our ancient unbroken belonging to that patch of land between the Mediterranean and the Jordan waters. I also want to thank those EU states that have refused to capitulate to American genocidal pressure, such as Spain, which has tripled their contributions to UNRWA in Belgium, Ireland, and Denmark, and to those who are actively resisting American hegemony, such as the brave and moral people of Yemen, South Africa, Mexico, Chile, and Indonesia, and others. And despite the purpose of this webinar, I can't focus solely on the defunding of UNRWA, which is just one piece of an ongoing active genocide being live streamed to the world over the past 108 days, 18 days. Against the backdrop of apocalyptic scenes, of whole families and bloodlines being wiped from existence, of tens of thousands murdered in the most gruesome and horrifying ways, including being buried alive in the rubble of their homes, or crushed under the weight of walls and ceilings that once contained generations of living and memories, some shredded or burned to death, or to eternal suffering in this life, or worse, dying slowly in the dark and cold because no one knows you're alive or cannot reach you. Against the backdrop of Israeli celebrations and glee over the ineffable suffering and pain of millions of human beings starving and suffering before our eyes, of babies and children living unimaginable trauma that will rewire their brains and psyches, against the backdrop of an entire defenseless indigenous population getting crushed under the weight of a vile settler colony, militarized society with the most advanced death machines ever known, against the backdrop of the most powerful men and women in the world openly calling for more of such inhumanity, more bloodshed, more terror, more displacement, more hunger, more thirst. You all heard the quotes submitted by the ICJ, but there are more, many more coming from ordinary Israelis, and many more coming from American politicians and the billionaire filth who own them. Against this backdrop, nations and peoples of our world are slowly taking their positions on one side or another. I never thought I would quote Benjamin Milikowski, also known as Benjamin Netanyahu, the Polish-American Zionist colonizer and war criminal whose family name was changed to sound more indigenous to the region. He said this was a battle between light and darkness, and it is clear that it is indeed such, though not in the nefarious terms he described. It is a battle between violent colonialism and indigenous liberation, between the autonomy of the global South and the exploitations of the imperial, violent global North. It is a battle between ethno-religious supremacy and universal dignity, between genocide and accountable diplomacy. It is not an exaggeration to say that the outcome of this moment will determine the fate of humanity for many generations to come. We do not have to be slaves to the will of a minority of humans who wield and exercise extraordinary power over our lives, over our public discourse, over our knowledge. We can create the world we want. We can become the world we want. We can end their endless wars, their coups, their regime changes, the violent chaos they exercise. We can impose justice in Palestine, in Congo, and beyond. We can usher a new era of sustainable living and development, of safety, not only for humans, but all creatures, because they too deserve to live their lives without mechanized human terror. It is all connected, and all of our work for social, economic, and environmental justice, and all the incremental triumphs we've achieved over generations are coalescing at this moment of genocide. It is incumbent on everyone to take a stand. Those who remain silent and exercise their privilege to be uninvolved are in fact taking a stand for genocide and for this darkness. Every small effort matters, even if it is merely sharing or posting or reading a book to try to understand, or giving a few dollars to UNRWA or the various other Palestinian efforts to survive. The world where we tread gently on this planet, where freedom is the self-evident basic nature and right of living beings, where agencies like UNRWA are no longer needed, in fact, to survive, and where oppression, exploitation, colonization, and the hoarding of wealth is utterly repudiated. This world at this moment begins in Gaza, if we fight for it, or it will die in Gaza under Israeli bombs and American hegemonic greed, if we allow it. Thank you.